This weekend was supposed to be a positive one for the Pirates. It was supposed to be a positive one, full of nothing but concentration on Paul Skenes making his debut, the team going up against a division rival, starting possibly the toughest stretch of the season for them. And if you have only been a Pirate fan for a couple of years, and you think that what I say about them is overblown or I'm just exaggerating about them, let me assure you, this series here, especially Friday and Saturday, those two games sum up what the Pirates have been since the early 90s. And the ending of Sunday's game was just a vintage Pirates ending. Just stuff in general about the Pirates on Sunday. Vintage Pirates. Bases loaded, one out. Brian Reynolds swings at the first pitch. Yasmani Grandal can't even handle a simple called third strike, and he drops it and allows the Cubs to score. But let me dive into Friday and Saturday. What's going on, everybody? I'm Mac. Back with another video. As always, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, follow on Instagram. Link is in the box below. Cubs take 2 out of 3 against the Pirates. Are you surprised? Well, you shouldn't be. However, what I am surprised about is just how poorly the Pirates played this series. I am surprised by that because you would think that on essentially Paul Skenes' weekend, the final game or the final series of a 9-game homestand, you would think that somehow, some way, this team would put it together for a change. And while I absolutely enjoyed Saturday's offensive explosion, that was the only positive aspect about this series, along with Paul Skenes' debut, that you can take away from this series, where the Cubs once again came into PNC Park and dominated the Pirates. Friday, 7-2 Cubs. Nick Gonzalez, I mean, if you want to put that as a positive for him getting called up and him swatting the only 2 runs that the Pirates had, go ahead right there. His first at bat of the season, no less. You would think that a team that commits 3 errors in the game would lose. But no, the Cubs had 3 errors Friday night, and they still beat us by 5 runs. You heard that right. The Cubs won by 5, despite having 3 errors. I mean, how much more low can you fall? A 4-run 7th pretty much ended that one. Yasmani Grandal's error Friday night was absolutely pitiful. I mean, you're a 35-year-old veteran catcher. You got 2 hands. And you can't even field the ball at home plate like that to allow the Cubs to tie the game. That's an error I'd expect out of Henry Davis, not a 35-year-old journeyman catcher. So I guess it's safe to say it don't matter who we put behind home plate. It don't matter if we put Henry Davis behind home plate. It don't matter if we put Yasmani Grandal behind home plate. It don't matter if Joey Bart's behind home plate. It don't matter if Andy Rodriguez is behind home plate. It don't matter if we have Yogi Berra behind home plate. He would come here and he would have a hard time with this team. You lose to a team by 5 runs when they commit 3 errors. How is that even possible? Only the Pirates. That's how. But let's get on to Saturday. Boy, do I have a lot to say about that game. Now, the only positives that I'll say about Saturday are the obvious ones. The offense came to life. Scored 10 runs Saturday in Paul Skenes' debut. So, thank you, offense, for allowing Paul Skenes to have breathing room. Thank you for that, at least. Connor Joe killed a 3-run homer. O'Neal Cruz, line drive home run. Michael A. Taylor, 2-run home run. Yasmani Grandal made it up for a little bit at the time with a 3-run homer. And Andrew McCutchen even hit a solo homer. So 5 Pirates Saturday hit home runs. The first time the Bucks scored 5 or more runs since the final game of the Phillies series. Paul Skenes, I think he pitched really well for someone making his debut. I mean, sure, he looked a little jittery out there at times, and his fastball is what everyone thought it would be. I just think he needs to find the zone a little bit more. I'm not, pounding him for it. I'm not killing him for it. I'm just chopping it down to he's a rookie. He's making his debut. Transitioning from AAA to the MLB is not a smooth one. So I'm just laying off of it right now. Those are just the little things that Paul Skenes needs to work up on, in my opinion. But other than that, I think Paul Skenes pitched really well Saturday. There was a point where I think it was in the second inning. The Cubs had the bases loaded. And the thing that I like most about Paul Skenes is that he did not lose his composure. Most pitchers like that would lose their cool. They'd collapse under pressure like that, and they'd usually end up giving up a bunch of runs. But Paul Skenes didn't let that bother him. He was able to work out of it. He was able to make smart pitches. He was able to make smart decisions. And then he started pounding the zone a little bit more. His blinker is so fun to watch. He struck out 7 Cubs in 4 innings, only gave up the solo homer. I tip my hat to Paul Skenes. He pitched a really good game for someone making his debut, I thought. Yeah, he walked a couple of batters. Yeah, he hit a batter too. But again, I can forgive that because he's making his debut. Okay? Now, let's get into what just drove me insane Saturday. I'm not going to flip out on Derek Shelton for taking Paul Skenes out of the game in the 4th inning because I understand that, his pitch count was high. He threw 84 pitches in 4 innings, which is pretty high for the 4th inning. So I'm not going to flip out on Derek Shelton about that. That was the right decision. What I will flip out on Derek Shelton about is not putting Jose Hernandez in the bullpen and putting in trash, no good, shit for brains, Kyle Nicholas. This bullpen with a freaking 6-1 lead can't hold on to it because they can't throw strikes. The Cubs didn't even need to try to score in that inning. Why? Because the bullpen at one point threw 12 straight balls. And there were not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 straight bases loaded walks. How is a bullpen that bad? So thank you, bullpen, for blowing a 6-1 lead and making the game closer than what it should have been. I sit down here every single post game, every single preview, every single take, praising this bullpen, saying, "Oh, this is a top bullpen in the league. Oh, this bullpen is one of the best in the league. The Pirates' strength is their bullpen." You walk 6 straight with the bases loaded. How is that even possible? The Cubs scored 9 runs Saturday. 6 of them came off of walks. I mean, can you throw a mother flippin' strike? Anybody? Only the Pirates. Only the frickin' Pirates can do that. The Pirates should not have won that game by 1 run. But they did because of our trash bullpen, our trash manager, and our even trash reliever in Kyle Nicholas. And there were fire Shelton chants going on at the ballpark Saturday, and I'll tell you, Derek Shelton deserved every single one of them chants. And then the Cubs win Sunday 5-4 because of more errors, more mental mistakes, more sloppy ball play. I don't even want to hear that the Pirates fought back and made it a good game. I don't even want to hear it. Did they win? No, they didn't. A trash series altogether that was poorly played, poorly executed, and poorly prepared for. At least we won the Rockies series. For as terrible of that series that was last week against the Rockies, hey, at least the Pirates won that series. Now you see what happens when you consistently make mistakes and you consistently do dumb crap. It's going to cost you a game. You can get away with bad play against the Rockies. You can get away with bad play against the Marlins. They're not good teams. Notice how I'm not saying the White Sox or the Athletics, because I am totally convinced right now that either one of those teams could whoop this team's ass. Oakland did already, so I mean, that's kind of redundant to say, but hey, the White Sox beat up the Cleveland Indians this weekend in a 4-game series, so I mean, they should have no trouble beating us up. Notice how I'm not even saying the White Sox or the A's. But the Rockies and the Marlins, we can get away with it against. Why? Because they're not good teams. You play a team like the Chicago Cubs, and you play that horse crap baseball that you played against them, you ain't going to get away with that. You're just not. Why? Because the Cubs are a good team. I freaking hate the Chicago Cubs, man. But they're a good team. They built up a solid team in less than 3 years. And you make mistakes against them, they're going to make you pay for it every single time. And that's what happened to the Pirates this week. And it doesn't get easier because now after this 9-game home stretch that you went 4-5 in, by the way, you had a losing homestand. Congratulations on that. 4-5 in the homestand. Now you got to go to Milwaukee, and then you got to play the Cubs again at Wrigley Field. I really don't know if this team can even win a series against the Brewers or the Cubs. I really don't know. Oh, yeah, and then after that, not at least soon not after that, you got to play the Atlanta Braves. Oh, boy, this team could very easily and possibly be 10 games under 500 by the time that Braves series is over. Why? Because they play sloppy baseball. The hitting only shows up when they feel like it. The hitting only shows up because Paul Skenes just got called up now, and they still trip over their own 2 feet when it comes to playing defense, and they commit sloppy errors that no MLB player at any league or any level should be committing. You mean to tell me that this is a competitive team? You mean to tell me that this is what Ben Cherington tanked for? I'm going to keep that up until the bottom line of this is completely resolved. And we know that ain't going to happen. This series was absolutely pathetic. Outside of the offense Saturday, outside of Paul Skenes' debut, this was an absolutely pathetic series that the Pirates honestly could have won. But because they're the Pirates, and because they don't know how to play baseball, and because they don't have any fundamentals, and because our manager is an absolute dipshit that doesn't prepare the team, and because our GM is a muppet who won't fire Derek Shelton, this is where we are. 18-23, barely out of fourth place. And the only reason that we're not in fourth place is because the Reds can't stop the bleeding with a losing streak or a bad slump. And the St. Louis Cardinals, as much as I love seeing the Cardinals suck, and as much as I want to see the Cardinals go on a stretch like we did, where we were terrible for 30 years, we're barely better than them. Meanwhile, the Cubs and Brewers, they're battling each other for the NL Central. Terrible series against the Chicago Cubs. Absolutely friggin' terrible. Only this friggin' team could mess up a weekend like this. Only this friggin' team could mess up an exciting day where the top prospect in all of baseball is called up and making his debut. Only this team could mess that up. So I'm not even surprised. It's just something I've come to expect. But you know what? If you're a fan of the team, it should piss you off. And it did piss me off. Especially with this garbage bullpen that blew a 6-1 lead and needed a lucky 3-run homer and a solo home run to even notch the win. Inexcusable. But then again, what do you expect when Derek Shelton's your manager? I freaking hate that guy. I absolutely hate him. Let me tell you, I thought Felipe Vasquez was my most hated Pirate ever. I hate Derek Shelton more. I really do. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm Mac, checking on out for the day. Have a good one, everybody.